starting up the week with a late night, getting me straight from youth practice right over here. So as always, it's Coach Schumann. Welcome to the Prospect Podcast. I have Coach D with me to my left, as always, and we have a great guest on today. Really gotten the opportunity to obviously coach a little bit against him in some scrimmages and stuff like that, and but a fantastic offensive coordinator and position coach, whatever position he's coaching. I mean, really great with the spread offense and is great with pace, and one of the guys who I think is one of the really great young coaches from an offensive standpoint out there. I think, and now you're with Wayne Valley, is it? Is that right? Wayne Valley. Now with Wayne Valley. It's great to have on Ian Schwindel. It's really great to welcome him to the podcast. And look forward to talking some football with him. Ian, if you can just kind of go and just touch base, kind of your background in playing and coaching and
sure.
Leading up to today.
Yeah, I grew up in Livingston, New Jersey. I played at Livingston High School for Bill Tracy, who's at St. Joe's now, legendary coach. I actually got to play for the late, great John Bauer Jr. He was there for a couple of years as well, so really had a master class between those two guys and Bobby Burchard and a lot of other great coaches. So it was, my love for football kind of really took off from there. Didn't play in college, but really had the coaching bug really early. A bunch of my friends, great guys, Steve Kroger, Paul Schlincione, they were at Livingston and they were coaching. I saw how much fun they were having. I'm like, man, I really want to do that. And Coach Tracy didn't have any positions at the time, but he was speaking at a clinic after winning a state championship. And a coach by the name of Ron Rowe was just named at Whippany Park. So he was looking for guys, and Coach threw my name out there. And that's where I really got my feet wet coaching wise. And I was there for a couple of years, ended up going back to coach for Barry Costabos when he was the head man at Livingston, got to coach with all my good friends. And then I got my teaching job in Montville. I'm an elementary phys ed teacher. So I started coaching there under Donnie Morganroth for a few years. And then, became the offensive coordinator there in 2016 up until this past year. And now I'm over Wayne Valley Indians with Coach Benaquista, and it's been awesome, man. It's a great group of guys.
Very cool, very cool. A lot of names I know pretty well who you've coached with.
Sure.
So you really have some really great background of who you've been around and who you've coached with. And it's funny because Livingston. So you played at Livingston. That's where Donnie went too, right? But Donnie's a lot older.
Yeah. He was a little bit older, yeah, but he was a Livingston guy.
Right,
I graduated in 2005, so I played with Robbie Tabachnik and a bunch of those guys back in the early.
Yeah, man. I played with Robbie in the North-South game.
Monster.
Yep.
Michigan State, right?
Yeah, that's it. No, I was the running joke was, I was like his stand-in or stunt double during practice. He really didn't get many practice reps because he carried the ball about 40 times.
I'll tell you what, he showed up like I think a day late because he had prom or something, okay. And I was like running out there as the one safety, and my man was not happy about it. Like he was not happy that this little white dude from Group 1 Butler was like playing over him. I'm going to Sacred Heart. He's going to Michigan State, and he's like, dude, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, my bad, dude. Like, I don't know, sorry. Like. Coach Liberato, who was at the time, right, like Hanover Park, Summit, New Providence, right? Like he was the DB coach, and I don't know. I guess because I was another short guy, so he was like, "Hey, you're going," but Robbie was like not too happy with that, and I'm like, "Dude, you're gonna get some playing time. It's an all-star game. Like let's trade stickers on our helmets, you know? Like come on, dude." But yeah, dude, hey man, and Livingston's a great little spot. Like I love how they're like they have that little like it's kind of like a stadium. The school's in the background, right? We used to play them all the time when I was at West Orange. Good pedigree over there. You know what I mean? Not really so much lately, really, right? But every now and then you'll see them like make a run or something like that. And they're a Group 5, correct? Like so you played at a Group 5, right?
Big school.
Yeah.
I think we were like Group 3 technically back in the day, but we were like
right
on the end. And now the town just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So it's it's Group 5 school.
Whew.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very, very cool. So, and Bill Tracy was the head coach when you were there, who obviously went on to Ridge and then obviously now it's St. Joe's.
Yeah.
Really, really innovative coach. He did some interesting things back in the day because I remember
doing a good job over there too, man. You know what I mean? Like St. Joe's Metuchen, nobody talks about them it being like anything really, right? Like they're like kind of like, you know, kind of where they are. Like nobody talks about them being part of the big North group of, you know, private schools, but you know, they're kind of like that centralist Jersey, kind of like never that until like every year they're in the playoffs. Like, you know,
we just keep winning.
We have kids. Yeah, we have kids from our team that have played that play there or have played there. Good coach, man. Like those guys get it done.
Absolutely.
What was it that like kind of stoked your thought process for wanting to get into coaching and you know, deciding to, you know, really want to start coaching football and get involved from that standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I once I stopped playing, like I knew I had no playing. I was more of a baseball guy, you know, in my mind at the time. So I, you know, had no aspirations of playing after, but especially my senior year, you know, after, you know, I was a junior with that really great team. We ranked in the state. You know, I was wasn't much in the mix, and then I finally got my shot to play a bunch, and I had such a great time. Learned a lot about myself. You know, there was thoughts before. I'm like, I don't even know if I want to play. I want to play baseball in college, but you know, I always look at that decision to play football, and you know, as taking me where I am today. Obviously, I don't know where I'd be without that experience, and obviously having the great coaches like all those guys I mentioned, kind of just ignite the passion for that game. And then seeing my friends jump into the coaching realm pretty quick. They started really early, as soon as they can get their credits. And I did the same thing. Like once I had 60 credits, I was coaching. So you know, I wanted to jump in as quick as possible. I want to learn as much as possible. And it was great to me jumping into that first job. Like I was like, oh boy, do I really know what I'm doing? But just the amount that I was able to recall from all those guys and try to instill right away. Obviously, probably wasn't even saying it anywhere close to right, but I'm like, man, they actually taught me something. Like I kind of know what's going on here, you know. Whereas to some, you know, it takes a lot longer. So I credit those guys for everything, and I'm really happy with the decisions I made.
Cool. And talk about how you really kind of. I'm assuming you're running a similar system to what you ran. How did you kind of devise the way that you run your offense, and how you came up with it? And
yeah, I mean, when I got thrown into it in 2016 at Montville, it was kind of like, all right, what are we doing? You know, we just gone from a strict triple option team, and while I really love that side of football, we kind of had to change things up. Just to kind of, you know, make people happy, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people fall out.
No, look, it is what it is. Yeah, 100%, dude. Like that offense. Yeah, I see it a lot, even down here. You're talking teams that run stuff like that. We saw a similar issue like happen at Homedale High School when, you know, they got a quarterback who's obviously now, like, you know, going to Dartmouth and ever, like he came in and he was not that type of guy. And eventually they kind of like ran that guy out. Even now you look at a program like Point Borough, who runs a similar type of offense. I mean, and has literally been like, you know, state semis or finals in the last couple of years. And it's like, you hear people in the town and they don't want that, right? Like they just don't, it's not appealing to the average fan or the parent, right? There's always, well, how are they going to get to college running a system like that? Like, you know, there's a lot of pushback. And that was what kind of happened with you guys at Montville. Good transition from, you know, strictly that, you know, wing T type of trip, or, you know, and then some option in there, like run the ball, all that kind of stuff. Like now here you come and it's like, hey, you got to do something different. So talk about that a little bit. Like, how did you kind of like go from one thing to another? Like that, the kids are conditioned for one thing, you know, and it's like, here we go.
That's it. And then, you know, the youth, it took a while, you know, to get on the same page with the youth program there too. But, you know, I credit those coaches for, and I don't blame them. Early on, it was like, well, this is like the fourth coaching staff in the past 5 years. So, you know, why are we going to listen to you guys? We don't know if you're going to stay here. So the biggest part, before I get into the offense, was just trying to make sure we're as visible as possible, sending things out as often as I could, trying to get, in touch with every youth coach I could, showing up to the field, showing up to games, just being there, sharing our scouting reports with them just to see how serious we were about it, and answering any questions they had, just making sure we were available. But for going back to, developing the spread scheme that we did, just taking advantage of taking a look at the caliber of athletes that we had. And, it's never been it never was the biggest town in terms of, huge upfront size. So we had to take advantage of speed in a different way than triple option. So went to the spread game and applied some, gap principles and really started diving into the zone game. And, we really majored in, I would say, the wide zone, outside zone stuff, and then just building around that and working off of that to start. Passing wise, I had been fortunate to learn from Coach Bauer as a player, and then just kind of always willing to learn the latest trends and updates in the game, how things are going, a lot of air raid concepts, and just trying to mesh that into what our guys can do best. And, I just sprinkled some screen aspects in there. I learned from, again, Bobby Pritchard and his good friend Angelo DeSalvo, who's at Northern Ohio.
Oh, Angelo.
Yeah.
Damn.
I learned a bunch from him as well. So, the stuff he was doing at Park Ridge at the time in terms of the screen game, just kind of mixing it up and different ways to get our guys in space quickly that were what I felt was pretty low investment to start, and then try to build from there. And it kind of evolved. It was year to year. It was kind of like as you said before. It's a Group 3 school. Fluctuating in terms of personnel. And, sometimes we had to adapt. Sometimes the zone game, we didn't have that zone runner. A couple of years in particular, I'd say 3 or 4 years ago, we were more gap. And when Anthony Feaster became a freshman, figuring out more ways to get a kid like that the ball when we're not, a traditional zone team. And I started drawing on some of the old wing tee stuff of the past from Jerry Gallagher and some of the clinics I sat in with him and talks with him. And we started running some red light action. So pretty much running slot ISO, slot down, slot power, getting to the jet power read game a lot more. And that became kind of our bread and butter. And, now you got to worry about a kid like that, taking it wide on jet and then banging up, even on trap in the A gap. And then the counter stuff off of it. And, as the years went on with him, the past couple of years, just playing with him in motion, putting him in every spot possible, getting into the empty game, running a lot of choice and option route stuff. I just always felt like if you had the kids to do it, why wouldn't you try it? And we had success.
No doubt about it. Yeah, you had a ton of success. I mean, year in, year out, and the pace you guys had is really good. And that part of deception allows for some wide open space. And good places for your guys to run. What is it about when you're building a team? Like, what are some of the things that you're looking for at the different positions? So, like, for example, what kind of guy you're looking for a quarterback? What kind of how do you kind of put the pieces together?
Yeah, I mean, we were really fortunate for most of my years there to have quarterbacks who were dual threat type guys. They can run the ball, and that just helped us from a numbers standpoint in terms of manipulating the box and having that threat of this guy can run. Right. was really, really good for us. So
always helps.
Yeah, always helps. And the few guys that we didn't, we were able to have enough bodies to work two back type things and concepts. But for the most part, we were able, every year we were able to spread them out and have our quarterback run the football. So a guy like that who can make quick decisions, didn't have to throw the best downfield ball, but if we can push the ball downfield, that's fantastic. But getting rid of it quickly and just being a student of the game. That was the biggest thing I try to push across for our quarterbacks was, just learning from themselves and being in tune with every single aspect of what's going on, because it's their offense when it comes down to it. It wasn't mine. It wasn't the coaches. It wasn't the teams. It's they got the reins, and I wanted them to make it as much theirs as possible. From a running standpoint, our tailbacks had to be they had to be tough. They had to be, again, when we're spreading it out with 4 guys, they got to be huge in pass protection. And our coaching staff did a great job. Coaches like your good friend Mickey Norton with the tailbacks. And, my buddy Joe Colella, who was a youth coach who actually, came up with us. They did such a great job getting those guys to buy into being physical and assert themselves in the blocking game, on top of being tough downhill runners themselves. And we had a lot of guys with the ability to get outside too and run that outside zone stuff to a T.
No doubt about it. As far as like what you try to instill in the kids that you coach, like what are some of the most important principles that you try to instill in them?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm blessed to be working with wide receivers and corners and kickers at Wayne Valley. Love my kickers. Just trying to get them to be as mentally and physically tough as possible. Wide receivers in a spread game. It's easy to fall in love with just catching the ball and, being out there. You think you're so far out there, you're not going to have an impact on the play. But, we are of the no block, no rock mentality. We did some drills today that I've officially coined no rock, then block. So if you're not getting it in the RPO game or the passing game,
right,
get your butt upfield and go find somebody. And they're getting better and better at man. And they're starting to have some fun with it. In terms of getting behind that idea. And from a defense perspective, corners, we're getting more and more physical, getting hands on people, getting a body on a body pretty much every play if we can. Don't give those receivers too much space and too much room to breathe. We want to suffocate them as best as possible. So instilling that mentality, it's, for some kids, it's natural. For some kids, they need a little more of a push and they need to see things and hear things and work on things. And, that's our job as coaches, right? Kind of pull as many different strings as possible until it sticks.
No doubt about it. I think that's the most important thing is to be able to push the buttons that are necessary to be able to get them to be as good as they can be. When you coach the kids, like what is your like kind of philosophy of how you go and try to develop them? Like what's your staging as far as how they develop, like from where they, when they come to you early on to by the time, let's say they come in as a freshman, time they're leaving as a senior?
Yeah, I mean, just the basic fundamental skills. We all have those everyday skills and drills that we're doing. The coaches at Valley are great asking me, for those positions, what are some of the things you do every day? They were with us during the summer, so they saw the basics. Getting them to grow and learn as a player for me would be, getting them to speak the language as quick as possible. Yeah. So that, again, they can just be an extension. I'm up in the press box now, so it's like,
nice.
All I love it, man. Oh my God. Getting back to
everything slows down, man. Like you're up there, look, where you coach, the teams you coach did have nice press boxes, what I'm saying? For you're inside, it's like you're away from all the chaos. I mean, yeah. Oh my God. Who's running into you? Back like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's been, I've always enjoyed the booth, right? Being up there. It's a totally different, like you have to coach, you coach different. You really do. You're not on the field. You know what I mean? It's just different, right? For me, I feel like it slows down. You can take a breath. You can kind of like, you're just away from all of the atmosphere within a game day situation in terms of like the controlled chaos that happens on a sideline, irregardless of if your program is conditioned for, great game day, right? Like it's a process. And I think a lot of fans don't understand that, or parents don't understand like how the whole sideline works. I mean, everybody has a role, in terms of even like, hey, this is going on, don't stand here. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. Are you on the headset with like who are you on the headset with, the head guy, because you're offense and defense.
Yeah, I'm
so,
working with everybody. Yeah, it's you know, it's, and that's the great
wow.
thing with Coach Benequist is, you know, everybody's involved in every aspect, and you know, we all have our roles. We got our communication pretty much down. You know, right now, a couple weeks into everybody being together.
Takes time. Takes time. It really does.
But
it's more of like when not to talk, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like something that a lot of guys don't really understand. Like,
a couple times I'm like,
I don't need. Yeah, like sometimes you're just like, you know what I mean? Like, I think we have a great thing where I'm at. You know, obviously, like I'm on the field now. I'm the signaler for the offense, right? So, you know, it's like, hey, play happens, right? The running back coach, he's up top. He gives the OC down. The OC is up top. He's calling plays from up top. It's the O-line coach and I down there on the field. I signal. He does his part, right? And then the head coach just listens. And, you know, he'll give you like a, hey, you got, you know, 4 downs here. Hey, take a shot, right? Hey, you know, but it's like as the guy on the field, you know, you got the running back coach going, hey, put so-and-so in for this, right? This plays here. Like, hey, and then you got the OC, hey, I want this right now. Like, make sure so-and-so is here on this. And then at the same time, you know, you're trying to like, I don't think people understand, like, you don't really coach on game day, right? Like, you're not coaching, right? What you're doing is tweaking and adjusting. And I mean, like most of the kids know, like, you know, hey, this is what I'm doing, but you're not like, you can't stop, right? No. You can't like stop it and go. And I think it takes a lot of time for young coaches to kind of understand that, right? Like, buddy, this is not the time we're coaching. Like, you should have done that Monday through Thursday, right? This is the time.
No reason to be screaming up there. No reason to be, you know, going freaking out, doing anything like that. Like, nobody's
look, I know the ref blew the whole right? Like, but we're 5 plays away. So like, stop talking about it. Like, let it go. Like, you know, it's really, it is a like nice choreographed type of dance that happens with the communication until the headsets go out and then all hell breaks loose. So
that's the other side. But yeah, getting back to what, you know, Dave's point about, you know, what I want for the kids just happened the other night. I want them to be able to speak the language so that if I have like the 2 free seconds that our defensive coordinator has or a coach on the sideline has, hey, you know, tell so-and-so he's got to mirror better. You know, that one word, the fact that they know what that means and what mirror better means. That's my goal, so that they can, you know, fix themselves on the field and control each other and, you know, keep everything in order down there. And keep everything locked down from what we're expecting of them and what we're practicing and teaching all week. So, yeah, whatever I can do to help from up there, I'm going to do. And my hope is that the kids can communicate and handle business on the field.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's a progression standpoint. Do you what is the like atmosphere at Wayne Valley? I mean, it's a place that's you know, Roger had a lot of success and obviously new coach now. What is the what's the atmosphere like that from a football standpoint? What are the expectations? Because, you know, Roger was in quite a few state championships. So what are like, what is that culture like?
Yeah, it's something. It's what I haven't experienced it yet. So it's been a lot of eye-opening, wow type things for me in terms of just the football community in Wayne is so powerful and strong.
Yes, it is.
You know, I rarely saw, you know, people like parents at practice in 14 years before this year, and I've seen a bunch of people at practices. You know, scrimmages were flooded with fans, and you know, just the booster clubs, all the amazing traditions that they have there. You know, there's a Hall of Fame, and there was a Hall of Fame dinner where people were nominated and awarded into the Hall of Fame class for this year. Guy flew from Australia just to accept the award, and you know, told his story playing, you know, 40 plus years ago, and it's just it's incredible. It's incredible. So and there's more too. I mean, in a couple of weeks, you know, we got Wayne Hills, and that's another big deal from what I understand. So it's just more and more and more, you know, from the trip, from going away, taking our first taking our trip away, playing up at West Point was a really special experience. Getting to go to the Army game with the guys the night before and staying overnight and being a part of that was just something new and exciting and something that happens every year. So ton of tradition, ton of positive support, and the expectations are, to win, to compete our butts off and to win. It's the culture that's been there with Coach K, and we got former players on staff, Grant Perillo and Jake Pluta, and a bunch of other guys who were, just so passionate about this place and winning. I can see why, and I'm falling in love with it every day.
No doubt about it. As far as what do you continue to aspire for within coaching? What are some of your goals that you have for yourself as a coach?
Yeah, I'm always trying to be a student of the game and learn as much as possible. Like, I've taken a step back this year in terms of not calling, a side of the ball, but I'm having a great time being there for everybody, helping them out. Taking all my experiences and putting my voice out there, without an ego, obviously, because that's the worst part. That's the worst thing in the world, when, somebody doesn't listen to you and you cry about it. To the point where, you can't work with that person. That's not how you do things. So, I'll throw stuff out there, and whatever anybody wants to take from it, great. If not, I'm learning so much from these guys. There is a ton of winning experience and knowledge on this staff that I'm just trying to soak up every day. So for me, I'm enjoying the ride, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now. I've always thought about coaching in college. It's just always, been a tough thing to break into with my experience. I know it's no excuse, but, I've explored avenues and things don't always work out. But, it's like I said, getting to do this year in, year out, day in, day out from June to, whenever we're done playing is just, it's a treat for me. So wherever it goes from here, I don't know. But I'm just, I'm loving what I'm doing and happy to do what I get to do every day.
No doubt about it. Well, it's been awesome having you on tonight and really talking some football. It's great to see where, Wayne Valley's a great place. You had a fantastic, coaching career when you had Montville, and you guys had some phenomenal teams there. It's one day soon. Probably you'll be a head coach somewhere. I can see that, and I can see that in the future. There's no doubt about it.
We shall see. Right now, like I said, loving life.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and look, you've done baseball in the past, right?
Yeah, head baseball coach. Yeah, I do coach freshman hoops. So wear a bunch of hats. But yeah,
you do it all.
Do it all.
Awesome. No doubt about it, Coach. No doubt about it. Well, listen, it's great having you on. We'll hopefully we touch base with you after the season and keep rolling.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate y'all.
All right, Coach. Bye. All right, good stuff. I haven't seen Coach in a long time. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. We're back tomorrow morning or no?
Yeah, tomorrow morning, 10. We have Ryan Miller on. He's from one of these companies that's like, your GPS player tracker data. So curious to kind of see how that whole thing works. You know what I mean? In terms of tracking steps and miles per hour and all that kind of stuff. Coach played at Baylor, so he has some high level experience. He's in that Texas area. So I know he's I don't think he's on staff with South Lake Carroll, but he's somewhere. Maybe he's an alum, possibly. But I'm just curious to see, because it's one of those things that we see a lot of guys talking about, like, hey, this guy reached this many miles per hour, or he did this or did that. So to kind of dive into like what that whole world is, I'm excited to talk to him.
That'll be exciting. Yeah, that'll be great, man. Great. What time is that tomorrow?
Awesome. 10 a.m.
All right,
normal
perfect.
time.
Cool. All right,
man.
We'll be back at it tomorrow. All right.